Well, good afternoon. Welcome to this Weather Impact Show. I'm Meteorologist Chris Tomer, and it is a warm one out there. We're at just about 80 degrees. You can feel a little bit of moisture in the air as well. It is going to be a busy night for the Arena District, and there is also a chance of a little bit of weather across the area, primarily in northern Ohio. But we've got the Columbus Clippers, and they are also going to be playing tonight. It is the dime a dog for the game tonight. We'll get to that in a second, but I do want to talk about the forecast. We do have a weather impact alert for the area. Now, this is mainly for northern Ohio. Now, some of it may clip, some of the weather might clip some of the extreme northern counties of central Ohio, but I really have less concern for most of the viewing area. If you're up in Mansfield or even up into Bucyrus and Marion and up to Cleveland, up into Toledo, that's where I think you could see some strong to severe thunderstorms, and so we are alerting for that. It's possible one of those storms or two of those storms may come down and clip some of those northern counties, but overall less concern for central Ohio. You've got a severe thunderstorm watch out in the pink shade right here. This is for a lot of northwest Ohio into Fort Wayne, parts of northern and northwest Indiana until 6 o'clock tonight. It's likely what we're going to see is this watch extended across a lot of Toledo and Cleveland, I-76 up there, and a lot of the just the northern counties of Ohio here as the afternoon and the evening wears on. And that will be the primary storm track. So this is the severe weather outlook from the Storm Prediction Center. And when you see the yellow, that is a slight risk of some severe weather. And notice it does cover a lot of northern Ohio. They have it extended all the way down towards some of the northern counties there on the north side of Columbus. So the storms may get close. I'll show you what our forecast radar is showing coming up here in a little bit. But here is the actual storm system, an area of low pressure moving towards Chicago. And it's pushing a lot of moisture in the form of thunderstorms out ahead of it. It's going to follow these arrows and kind of move up towards Detroit. So it will drag all of this precip and those thunderstorms through a lot of northern Indiana, northwest Ohio, the northern counties of Ohio, probably clipping Toledo, Cleveland, and also running through Detroit through the course of the night. So zooming in, you can already start to see some of the thunderstorms moving their way towards Fort Wayne and then up towards the I-80 corridor, and eventually it's all going to be moving into parts of Michigan and again across a lot of northern Ohio here through the course of the evening. We are on the windy, warm side of that area of low pressure. You get that return flow out of the southwest. We expected gusty winds today. It was forecasting 35 to 40 mile per hour wind gusts, and that's exactly what we're seeing out at John Glenn right now. 22 mile per hour sustained and gusts to 41. It's gusting into the 30s from Newark all the way up to Mount Vernon, and you've got gusts to about 40 at Washington Courthouse. And here are the current numbers, and 77 is the current temperature here in Columbus. The record high today is 83 degrees, so we're going to get very close. We still have some warming yet to go. Even this afternoon, 70s to the north, 70s to just about 80. In fact, Circleville and New Lexington both at 80 degrees right now. Over the next 5 days, our forecast highs, we take a little bit of a dip tomorrow with some rain showers moving through the area at 65, and then right back to 80 on Thursday, 70s on Friday, right back to 80 again. So we've got 2 additional 80s in the forecast, and both of these 80s will actually be near record highs. I believe the record for Thursday is 84, and then it's about 82 for Saturday. So over the next 12 hours, the strong winds remain, the gusty winds all the way through the evening rush hour, and we sit at about 80 all the way through. And then overnight, another mild night with temperatures in the 60s. And just some cloud cover starts to build in towards the morning rush tomorrow. Tomorrow is probably our highest chance of seeing some rain showers of the entire week. When you look at the precip chances, they go up to 60% on Wednesday, down to 20 on Thursday, back up to 60 on Friday, roughly there on Saturday, and then they come down. It's mainly a morning rain on Sunday, and then I think it will actually clear during the day. Monday down to 0, and then barely up to about 10% for Tuesday. All right, looking at the forecast hour by hour here. So this is the forecast radar. And I showed you what the radar actually looks like right now with those storms kind of pushing up into parts of northern Indiana and northwest Ohio. By the time we get to about 4 o'clock, the belief is that you'll see that line up there. Now watch it by 6 o'clock. You can see how it may brush Bucyrus and Mansfield, Richland County up there, but most of the action is pretty far north of central Ohio. By the time we get to about 9 o'clock, again, there may be a thunderstorm here, clipping Mansfield and Bucyrus. And all of that just kind of sliding across that corridor. By 11 o'clock tonight, here comes the final line. But this one will weaken as it approaches the area. And you can see it just kind of fall apart right there. Now, Wednesday at 5 o'clock in the morning, we may have some scattered showers across the area. You can see them indicated here Wednesday at 5 a.m. So we could have some pockets of rain, maybe a rumble of thunder mixed in there. Again, Wednesday probably has one of the highest chances of rain all week. This is at noon, maybe an in-between period. And then in the afternoon, we start to see some additional rain and maybe even a thunderstorm come through central Ohio. Not expecting anything strong or severe here tomorrow. But that's Wednesday at 5 p.m. Maybe a little bit wet during that time frame. And by 11 o'clock, a lot of it has moved away from central Ohio. As far as rain, now this is a total rain for the rest of the week. By the time we get to late Friday, so total rain between now and then, we could pick up maybe up to an inch here across a lot of central Ohio, Franklin County, the I-70 corridor, maybe more as you go north. Notice that some of the northern counties where you're going to get clipped with some of these thunderstorms, you may have more rainfall. Less rain as you go to the south in some of the southern counties. So here is your 10 weather impact 7-day forecast. So on Wednesday, 60% chance of some rain showers and a high in the middle 60s. So the rain chances bring the temperatures down as well. On Thursday, the record is 84, forecasting 80. That is one of the drier days. Friday, 60% chance of rain, 73. On Saturday, another high of 80. The record is going to be 82. We may have a couple of thunderstorms around the area on Saturday. Now, by the time we get into Easter, on Easter Sunday, it's going to be cooler at 55 degrees. I think we could see some rain showers in the morning hours, and then I think things will clear away by the time we get into the midday into the afternoon. On Monday, a high of 50, so even a little bit cooler and totally dry. And then on Tuesday, maybe a sprinkle kind of riding through the area and then warming back up to about 60 degrees. Now, of course, we're talking about these thunderstorm chances through the course of the evening, especially north of central Ohio. And it's going to be a very busy night around Columbus, the Arena District. We've got the Columbus Clippers gearing up for their home opener. And it's a big night for the Blue Jackets, of course. 10 TV's Amy Steigerwald is breaking down what you need to know before you head downtown tonight.
That time of year again where we get a little bit of season crossover. Both the Blue Jackets and the Clippers set to play tonight. And if you're coming downtown for either one of those matchups or just in general, expect things to be a little busy. Huntington Park will be packed as the Clippers play Indy to open their home season. Those prepping the stadium say the ballpark is ready to go, undergoing renovations in the off-season, like a new video board and sound system.
There's no better feeling, once you do get everything set and ready and that first pitch does happen, and just seeing it all come together. I mean, especially with all the new amenities in the ballpark, with the new video boards, ribbon boards expansions, and different, food items we're doing, and it's going to be exciting.
On top of the Clippers packing their stadium, the Blue Jackets are also gearing up for a big night as well. They have 8 games left, and this morning are pushing for a playoff spot.
It gets harder and harder and harder, and we're going to keep reminding them every day how hard it is to win at this time of the year.
Now the Clippers are set to play at 6:15, the Blue Jackets at 7:30. If you're planning to come down and park, expect to plan for extra time. Reporting in downtown Columbus, Amy Steigerwald for 10 TV News.
Thank you, Amy. All right, a busy night in the Arena District, especially at the ballpark, is definitely a sign of spring. And this is a sign to make sure your car is ready to go for the spring season as well. Here's where you can start. So some technicians say you can just start by checking the fluids. It's that simple. It includes transmission, oil coolant, brake fluid, all the critical systems that can be affected by winter driving.
Fluids are the lifeblood of every item under the hood. I mean, your engine, your transmission. Especially transmission. It's the lubricant, it keeps it cool, and it makes it go. You got to have good fluid.
Yeah, tires are another big one, and cold weather can cause the pressure to drop, and you can hit potholes, which can throw off your alignment or even cause a lot of damage to the undercarriage. And taking care of some small issues now can help you avoid being stranded later and ultimately save you money. Experts recommend scheduling a quick inspection, especially if your car's been through a tough winter. And with so much going on downtown tonight, you're going to want to get your car operating in tip-top shape, and getting around in all that traffic may cause headache. May cause a lot of headaches for drivers, all that traffic downtown. So traffic anchor Brianna Albizu has more on your workarounds.
Yeah, it is safe to say the Arena District will be pretty busy out there later tonight. Busy roads expected throughout that area, including Nationwide Boulevard, that main artery here. We also have Neal Avenue, Spring Streets, and High Street, right in between Huntington Park and Nationwide Arena. Now, as for some parking options, we have a lot available for you. Garages will be available out there, including Neal Avenue, the Marconi area, and McConnell Garage as well. We also have lots that you can use. Be mindful, though, that prices do vary. Most are going to be cashless, so be prepared. But of course, have fun, leave early, and be patient with all the traffic. Again, really expecting some busy roads out there later tonight. Back to you.
It's Artemis time. Back to the moon. Here's a live look from the launch pad at the Kennedy Space Center in Cape Canaveral, Florida. As we get even closer to a potential liftoff of the Artemis II mission, the Artemis II test flight will be NASA's first mission with a crew aboard the Space Launch System rocket and the Orion spacecraft. The 4 astronauts will go on an approximately 10-day journey around the moon, setting the stage for future lunar surface missions.
Our team has worked extremely hard to get us to this moment, and I am so very proud of the work that they have done. It is an exciting time. It's an exciting time for this team and our crew, and really our nation and the world.
Yeah, it is. Artemis II could launch as early as tomorrow at 6:24 p.m. The mission is the first human lunar trip in more than 50 years. Much has changed in America since then. And not has, and obviously you have things change and then a lot of things don't change. You know, the old saying. Mark Strassman has the latest.
Maybe the crew of Apollo 8 saw the moon as their escape from 1968. Vietnam had America ruptured. The shootings of MLK and RFK were scaring and scarring. Our country needed something unifying. Sound familiar?
We are back in the moon game, and that's going to be exciting.
Jeffrey Kluger, Time Magazine's editor-at-large, wrote a best-selling book about Apollo 8, the first trip beyond Earth's orbit to another world.
What are the parallels between Apollo 8 and Artemis II?
The stakes feel equally high. The excitement feels equally high.
Like Apollo 8, Artemis II will be a test flight, a giant leap toward eventual moonwalking, scheduled for early 2028, and ultimately establishing a permanent lunar base. Apollo 8's permanence came from this famed image, Earthrise.
God created the heaven and the earth.
And a gospel reading from the crew. It was Christmas Eve.
God bless all of you on this good earth.
Someone messaged the crew, "Thank you, Apollo 8. You saved 1968.
It was an inflection point at the end of the year and was something that Americans as a group and the world at large deeply, desperately needed.
Among the first for Artemis II,
let us know if you get stuck.
The first moonbound black astronaut, Victor Glover, about to launch from another polarized America.
That to me is another measure of success. How many of us can we bring together?
After more than 50 years, NASA's resetting the clock on moonshots. This moment, this era of human spaceflight feels both new and familiar. Mark Strassman, CBS News, at the Kennedy Space Center.
All right, well, now to some news about our environment and the warming weather we're seeing already this year. Experts say that part of the western U.S. could be in for an early and severe wildfire season. That's due to the recent record heat and a very low snowpack. In fact, a lot of places, the snowpack was just decimated recently by this high pressure that was there. From California's Sierra Nevadas to the Rockies of Colorado, a new study in the Journal of Environmental Research Letters shows that the early melting of the snow correlates with more burned acres, so they're finding some relation there. One expert says the region is in uncharted territory for this wildfire season. This comes as new reporting says that the Earth's climate is more out of balance than at any time in the observed history, according to the World Meteorological Organization. Record levels of carbon pollution from our continued burning of fossil fuels are rapidly warming the planet and creating increasingly extreme weather events. To avoid the worst impact, scientists say we must cut the emissions and even pull some of that carbon out of the air. Ben Tracy with Climate Central shows us one possible solution that starts not in the sky, but in the sea.
Mahoney, this is the Connecticut.
Scientists in the Gulf of Maine are trying something for the first time.
Get going on the dispersal.
Releasing 16,000 gallons of sodium hydroxide to see if they can reduce acidity in the ocean.
You can kind of think of this like a Tums for the ocean, right? It's an antacid.
Adam Sabas of Woods Hole Oceanographic Institute says the ocean absorbs a third of all planet-warming carbon pollution, mainly from our burning of fossil fuels.
They also take up about 90% of the heat, too. So they're doing a huge amount of work in terms of absorbing what we're putting into the atmosphere.
But all that extra CO2 is pushing pH levels down, which makes the ocean more acidic, weakening coral, making it harder for shellfish to form shells and for the ocean to soak up more carbon. Early test results show oceans can take in more carbon dioxide if we take out some of that acid. Woods Hole also found no measurable impact on ocean life.
And so this barge is where you're testing out this technology to see how this works.
Yes, this is where the magic happens.
Kyla Westfall is with Ebb Carbon,
Welcome to the barge.
a startup using chemistry, not magic, in a process that filters acid out of seawater.
We have a bunch of sensors located inside.
This is their pilot project in Port Angeles, Washington,
So this is the outfall pipe.
and where treated water flows back into the ocean.
Oh yeah, I see it down there.
Yeah.
Ebb plans to put its tech inside existing desalination plants, starting in Saudi Arabia later this year.
Are there really enough desalination plants for them to make a dent?
There would be enough capacity to remove around 1 billion tons of carbon dioxide from the air every year.
If it works, that would be 10% of what scientists say is needed to avoid the worst climate impacts. Meanwhile, a Canadian company called Planetary is using a similar process at power plants, while ships could also be used to disperse antacid solutions worldwide.
Okay, roger that. I'll relay the information.
But scientists warn this is not a free pass to keep polluting.
I assume that's not the goal here. No, it can't be the goal. If we don't keep laser focused on actually addressing carbon dioxide emissions, then there's really no reason to be doing this at all.
For Climate Central, I'm Ben Tracy.
And finally today, let's check out some new video into us here at 10 TV. Incredible video captured in Australia. I remember seeing this one and thinking, okay, is that even real? It went viral, of course, something like that would. After it showed the skies and pretty much everything else turned into an ominous shade of blood red as an intense weather system was closing in. So why is it doing this? Well, Tropical Cyclone Narelle stirred up dust storms that then painted the skies of the town. So you get all that dust into the air and it tends to have that reddening effect, as seen by that surreal video there shared by Shark Bay Cavern Park. 7 News reports power outages, inland flooding, and damaged structures. They were all reported after the storm hit, but the Caravan Park said that they were spared the brunt of it and later posted a clear sky video saying what a difference a 48 hours can make. I mean, that is just crazy video right there. And one final story, it's a cute one. The world is watching a new bald eaglet that's hatched in northern Iowa. The eaglet tumbled out of its shell on Friday morning. And here you see the little one clearly. Yeah, look at him right there on camera. For the first time, it's called the Decorah Eagle Cam on Sunday. You can see him there. The eaglet's arrival is a sure sign of spring. That the sign has definitely arrived in Iowa, that spring has arrived. They always carry signs and business cards with them too, so you know. The Eagle Cam is part of the Raptor Resource Project there in the Iowa area. All right, well, that's going to do it here for this 10 Weather Impact Show. Stay with us through the course of the evening. We'll be watching for some thunderstorm development, and we'll certainly talk more about what the rest of the week holds and, of course, Easter weekend. Thanks for tuning in here.